Hi, this is Dana Lowen, and this is my Module 15 case study presentation. The first category was problem identification and analysis. So what we know that is that students do worse at reading than they do at math, and then that they lose ground as a cohort moving through the school, and they also lose ground from grade to grade. So there's something we're missing in their reading instruction that's causing them to not be able to carry that over to the next grade. So we need to look more into that. Some things that I wrote that I'd like to know. I wrote this before I actually read the results of the reading supervisor's recommendations. So I just wrote all the questions that I had before I even saw the results. And the first one is the current instruction. So how is it being taught right now? What standards are the teachers working by? What kind of programs and resources are they using? And then I also wanted to know our goals for reading. What kind of objectives are they not reaching? What specifically are they not, what are they not getting? And what are our expectations for them? And then I wanted to know more about the programs, maybe the reasoning behind our program of instruction. Is it just outdated, or are we just using ineffective technology, or what? And yeah, just why are we teaching the way we are now, and what program should we consider? So those are just some questions I had. After reading the reading supervisor's recommendations, I decided that kind of, as he said, the problem is two things mainly: that the reading instruction is not done as a whole group, or it is done as a whole group, regardless of the skill level. So the students aren't getting individualized development, which is a problem, because when you have students of all different levels and you teach them all the same thing in the same way, the lower levels are going to be left behind, and the higher levels are going to be bored because they've already learned that and they already know that. So you have a lot of kids then that are just not getting what they need. And then secondly, that there's no strategic reading skills that are being taught as part of the curriculum, which is a problem, because that means the students aren't being able to carry on what they learn and use it to grow level by level. They're just learning whatever the teacher teaches them, but they don't have the skills to continue to grow from there. Category 2, the proposed plan. The plan of action were three main things. The first is curriculum standards, and a lot of this is taken just from what the reading supervisor recommended and noticed. So we need to revise the curriculum so that there's balanced attention on phonemic and phonetic skills, reading comprehension, and integrated reading and writing. Right now we're missing all of those things. And then so first I think we would plan the curriculum, and then we would look at the instruction so that students are able to use those skills and to learn those strategies by changing the way we do instruction. And then on delivery is we need more individualization. So we need to have it, the instruction organized so that it's flexible and students of different levels can all learn at their varying paces. And the teacher needs to be able to continually assess them so that they're able to do that and they know what level they're at and what level they need to be working at. So the implementation of that would be to make those changes to the curriculum, and then also I think they need more time. Right now they only have 1 hour of language arts instruction. I think that could be kind of interspersed throughout their schedules, maybe just have a little more of a free reading time where they can just read whatever books that they choose at or above their level, and maybe just more time to work on things like spelling and reading skills that they need. And then improving instruction, we would have to train the teachers in the skills that we want them to implement. So we'd probably have to do some sort of training, especially for the teachers that are not teaching these things. And then delivery for individualization, we would have to change the instructional plan and make sure there's formative assessments all along the way, and make sure the teachers have the tools they need to be able to individualize the instruction. So whether that needs, they need technologies to be able to do that, and assessment data and all that stuff. And then category 3, to resolve the issues. The solution, I think it considers all, we need to consider all the students. So right now they're not getting individualized instruction. Giving students of varying levels the same instruction means, like I said before, the higher level students are bored and the lower levels are left behind, and that's even something that I've really struggled with personally, having large classes and then having to teach towards the middle and not being able to spend enough time to individualize the instruction. So I think that's something that would be very helpful. And then they need to be taught the strategies to improve their reading skills on their own. So if they only rely on their teacher's instruction, they can only do exactly what the teacher teaches them. For example, if they learn to spell certain words, they can spell those words, but maybe they won't know how to sound out a word or figure out how a word might be spelled on their own. So they need that flexible kind of knowledge so that they are able to progress to the next grade levels. And then thirdly, the students need more time for language arts instruction and practice throughout the day, especially since this is an area that they're falling behind in. They really need more attention to bring them up to grade level, because this is a really essential skill for them for their future success. Category 4, the debrief. Okay, so category 4, the debrief. Some of my thoughts and feelings when I was doing this case study, especially as that reading is such an important skill, it really cannot be neglected. You know, kind of the way I see it, if students maybe they don't learn certain things in social studies, or I don't know, maybe hit like If they just don't learn certain things like that, that are kind of facts, then, that can be, they can learn that later in life or something. But if you miss out on reading skills, that's something that you really need that for life, and you get behind, kind of like math also. If you get behind, then you're kind of behind forever. You can never catch up because it builds on the things that you learn as you go. So it's really not something that can be neglected. I also thought the parents in the PTO were right to ask the school to improve in this area. Their concerns were very valid. I think if I had kids and this situation was happening to me, I would also be worried if my kids were not learning reading the way they are supposed to. And reading, I think, is a very important value for me. I've always loved to read. My mom says I begged her to teach me to read before they were even teaching us in school, because I just wanted to so bad. I don't really remember that, but I've always liked to read. I think it's really important for life to be, it allows you to be informed about the world, and I have even a greater appreciation for it, I think, after living in China, because I can't really read Chinese. There's a few characters I can recognize, but essentially I'm illiterate there. And so it's really an interesting experience because, I can go to the store and I'm trying to figure out what things are, how to tell the shampoo from conditioner, just, without being able to read the labels, or, shopping for food or something, or looking at a menu. Like, I always hope they have pictures in the menu, or I can't really tell exactly what it is. And it's, it's hard to not really know what's going on, and, even beyond those simple things, to not be able to read the news or the social networks in my students' language and in the language of everybody around me. It's really hard. You miss out on a lot of things, I'm sure. So it's really important that kids be able to learn to read when they're young and continue those skills throughout their life. Some unresolved issues I thought of. The teachers are going to need a lot of training to make these changes, because a lot of them might be new to them, or that they just haven't had practice using. So we would need to implement a new professional development program. Teachers might complain about this extra workload and time burden, I thought. They're already very busy, I'm sure, so we'd have to maybe find a solution so that it doesn't take too much time out of their schedules, and yet they do get the training that they need. Students will have to be continually assessed to make sure that these changes are being effective, and the teachers are also going to have to be checked up on to make sure that they are making the changes effectively and are being implemented. So, some resources are going to have to go into that. How are we going to make sure that teachers are making these changes, and how are we making sure the assessments are reflecting whether they are effective? And then I think extra help is going to be need to be given to the students who fall behind the most, because I'm sure some would be doing better